This is Fearless Beauties, a podcast dedicated to developing voices of color in the beauty industry. We are talking to estheticians, skin specialists, and business owners to uncover best skin practices, tactical career tips, and ultimately, how we can create a better beauty industry together. I'm your host, Taylor Phillip.
And I'm your other co-host, Alina Velez. Welcome to the latest episode of the Fearless Beauties podcast.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 8 of the Fearless Beauties podcast. My name is Taylor, your host, also known as Taylor Budgets.
And I'm Alina, your certified advanced esthetician.
So for this episode, we are discussing inclusive spa spaces, how we can accommodate people living with disabilities in our spas.
I think you really got to ask yourself, is it a welcoming space for people of all gender identities, races, religions, disabilities? I mean, right. That's the start of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just start there. A couple things I want to touch on. Dermascope. It's titled Celebrating Diversity and Inclusion, How Spas Can Become More Inclusive. And there are some really good tidbits from this article. So I just want to touch on a couple real quick. First being commitment. We all have to commit to education. Education needs to happen on two independent but intersecting topics. The first being an awareness and acknowledgement of white privilege. I love that she talks about this because it's so powerful. The second being how to safely treat skin of color due to understanding unique skin conditions. We all know that racism is institutionalized in all areas, including education, banking, housing, food, justice, and more, but especially in the beauty industry. Mary goes on to say that representation and staffing, I think that's huge, and something that isn't always talked about. People want to see representation. They want to see themselves. They want to see some different ethnicities working, like not just your typical European, I mean, we want to see a diverse professional profile, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. And also just like bouncing off the education, like you really have to have the knowledge and be confident in what you know, because anyone can say that they're inclusive. Anyone can try and make their spa spaces inclusive. But I think someone who is pretty much excluded from society, such as African Americans or people with disabilities or people with disabilities, can literally go in your spa space and say, nah, they think they're doing something, but they're not, So you have to do the research, people.
Yeah.
And you have to want to do it. And I've always said this, like, doing the research is different than wanting to do the research. Like, just because are you doing it just so you can say that you did it, or are you doing it because you truly want everyone to be represented in your brand and you want everyone to be welcome at your spa?
Absolutely. And that brings us to our first principle, right? Place people at the heart of the process.
Mm-hmm.
So this is talking more toward like the design of the space, making sure that it just has a good flow for people. And it's, and I think about like people with, like PTSD or anxiety who maybe like need the bed to be positioned a particular way. So if they do have a panic attack, boom, they can just run out. I mean, those are the little things that that we're talking about when we're placing people at the heart of the process. We're making it as comfortable for people.
Yeah, I love that. And like when you said PTSD, I automatically thought of like war veterans. Like what if they need something or somewhere relaxing to go to? And what if they're doing construction right by and there's like a loud boom from an excavator? I don't know. And they hear that. Do you have the technology to have like the speakers be a little
sound
bit
blocking. Yeah.
Right. Sound blocking technology, all that stuff. Those minute details can change everything for that person.
Yeah.
And also economically, that's business right there.
Absolutely.
Like they will continue to go to you because they trust your environment.
Yes. And empathy is always a great starting point, especially when in terms of thinking of people with trauma and PTSD, somebody who needs a psychological safe place, comfortable furniture, a good flow, and just taking into consideration everybody's unique individual needs.
Right. I did write down in my notes because I was thinking when you said empathy, putting yourself in their shoes. What would you want out of the spa space? Ask them, like literally have like a focus group of like people with trauma or people living with disabilities, the elderly, like have
people with just bigger bodies. Yeah.
Exactly. That's another one. Would you want to feel uncomfortable in the spa chair? I feel my body is like tipping over because it's not big enough. Like no one wants to feel like that. So you have a focus group. Ask them. Like I feel like they would appreciate you asking them more than just assuming, because I've said it before. When you assume, you make an ass out of yourself and the other person. So I wrote down, people with disabilities cannot benefit from an exclusive space, but people without disabilities can still benefit from an inclusive space. And I thought of hotels. Like hotels, they have rooms for people with disabilities. That doesn't affect me, someone that doesn't have a disability.
That's so good. That's such a good point. There's nobody's losing. Everybody's happy.
No one's
Everybody's
losing.
taken care of.
Right. So, and honestly, if they say, oh, we only have handicap rooms. I think that's what they call it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. There's still a shower. Like, instead of someone with a disability coming and say, oh, we don't have any rooms that can accommodate you. Like, oh, well, that sucks. Like you said, I don't lose from you being inclusive.
Right.
But that person will lose from you being exclusive. So just be inclusive.
Absolutely.
It's easier.
Yep, absolutely. Second principle kind of ties into the first principle, but acknowledge diversity and difference. So good design creates an environment that meets as many people's needs as possible. Even if the design is complete and inclusivity wasn't considered at the start, it's not too late to address it through furniture placement or other modifications that don't require construction. It's never too late you should always be switching things around and evolving and making things better for your business in general, but especially for your people who, I mean, if it wasn't for your clientele, you wouldn't even exist. You know what I mean? Your business wouldn't even be up. So I think it's the right thing to do. And it just simple. It's the right thing to do, period. There are actually like designers, like they specialize in inclusive design.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. There's this one gal, I think her name is Kat Holmes. Kat Holmes is a UX design director at Google, and she asserts that inclusive design should be considered a catalyst for innovation. I love that. So true. Everybody can benefit.
Right.
Principle 3.
Okay. You go.
Sorry.
No, you're doing it. Go ahead.
Principle 3 is choice rather than a single solution. And you touched on this already, Taylor. Just how versatility, making one thing able to move around or buying something that just is versatile and can work with many different people. So there is this massage table with an adjustable body comfort. For short, it's an ABC system. It's an adjustable bed that women can lay on and they can make subtle changes in the breast area to fit each guest while offering support for deeper work. So it's, you know how it is. Ladies, you lay flat on the bed and it hurts. It's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made this bed that can change and support us so that we can do what we need to do to, this is specifically for massages is what it's talking about. But you know, I think that estheticians can gain from something like this too.
Right. And you know what? That's funny because right before Christmas, I went to a spa. My stepmom got me a spa package. It was a 3-hour situation, Alina. I was in heaven. They gave me champagne. I was like, in heaven.
Yes. Okay. Love that for you.
Thank you. It was great. The first session was a massage. And of course, I, had to get pretty much naked and put my head through the thing. And he was like, how do you want me to adjust the head thing? I don't know what it's called. And I was like, okay, you can put it straight because the person before me had it tilted up a little bit. And I was like, ugh. But I was like, that's versatility. But then when it came down to my breast, I was like, oh, my breasts are just slammed against this table, and it was very uncomfortable. Like, of course, you kind of block it out during the massage, but I was like, yeah, it would be bomb if they could have like an opening for the breast so that they can just hang, you know, let them hang and do their thing. So I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even if my bed had that.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would
I
be
sleep
nice
on my
if
tummy,
my bed had
so.
that. I'm a side sleeper.
Oh, I'm a tummy sleeper all the way. So my breasts are always hurting.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I know.
Cool.
So.
That sounds like $1 million idea there.
Girl, don't get me started. I'm just kidding. Shoot.
Let's see. Principle 4, flexibility in use. So, places need to be designed so that they can adapt to changing uses and demands. Couldn't agree more.
That we were discussing.
Yep. Flexible development and design for all different types of people. But while all clients want to feel safe and welcome during a spa visit, people with traumatic stress don't always get the full experience as somebody that maybe doesn't have traumatic stress. And so kind of how we were saying in the beginning, we need to create this safe environment for everybody. If there's loud noises going on and, even in uncertainty, like when you walk in your office or you walk in your spa, is there confusion where to check in or if there's that awkwardness as soon as they walk in, they're not gonna look forward to coming back to see you because it's a stressful situation. And 70 to 90% of adults in the US have trauma. So
that is just too much.
Yes. And more so with Black, Indigenous, and people of color or BIPOC. So just
I was just thinking
environment. Sorry, go ahead.
When you said just I wonder if entrepreneurs who want to open up their spa think about these things, because before reading this article, I certainly did not. I didn't think about how such small things could create big change. Like how you were saying, when you walk into the spa, is someone there to greet you? Are they making eye contact? Even those small things, because what if someone has social anxiety and they're going out of their comfort zone to go to a spa where they're being touched and being around people and blah, blah, blah. Right. You have to have that warm, disposition and hi, almost like a therapist. And that's what we say, estheticians are skin therapists. You really have to have, you have to want to be that warm place for all your clients.
Right.
So even down to the tone of your voice.
I agree.
Why are you loud? Why are you being loud while working on my face?
Oh my God. I have totally experienced that firsthand.
Seriously?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've even heard of some estheticians, like on their booking site, you can create like you can choose to have a quiet, like no talking appointment, or you can choose like music or whatever. But you can put personal preferences. Like there's some days I go get my nails done. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you. I'm sorry. Please don't talk to me.
Right.
And so I think that's a really cool thing to further personalize the experience for people without making it awkward. Like, oh, you don't want to talk? Just, no questions asked while you're booking, just boom.
Right.
No
and
talk
it was
appointment,
crazy
please.
because thank you. I've experienced this when I went to my spa thing right before Christmas. There was a male doing my massage. She was great. But literally, as a business owner, someone who's a business owner and literally focuses on her business all the time, the first thing he asked me, so what do you do? I don't want to talk about what I do. Yeah. First of all, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't care. Like, let's be honest here. I'm here to get a massage. I'm not here to make a friend. I mean, the conversation was great, but while I'm getting my massage done, I'm talking the whole time. And I'm the type of person like, all right, I'll just be nice and whatever. I'm not going to be like, can you like not talk to me? I just want to get a massage. I can't do it. Like, I can't. So I'm like, the question should be asked. So, hey, do you want the music a little bit higher? Are you comfortable with conversation, or would you like me to be quiet?
Yeah.
I feel like that could have changed the game for me, because now it takes the awkwardness from the client. Like, oh, you're giving me options? Yeah, I don't want you to talk.
Exactly.
Right. Give the option. Yeah. Don't just be like, oh, so what do you do? Yeah. While you're rubbing my back? I don't know you, sir. It was a whole bunch of things going through my mind. And I'm glad we talked about it, because it makes sense. Why not have your ideas?
You'll get people who do want to talk. You'll get people who want to talk your ear off. So
exactly. I remember it was a long time ago, but you talked about going to the nail salon and like putting on your headphones. Like, I put my headphones on before I even walk through the door. I don't be playing. But I remember years ago, I was talking to my nail tech, and she was saying that one of her clients just comes in on a regular basis and like just spills all the tea about her marriage to her. And like, that is her therapy.
Right.
And she was like, and I don't mind listening to her, because by the end of the day, when she leaves, she feels good. And knowing that she felt good here, okay, I did my job. Like, of course, I don't necessarily want to hear about your marital problems, but if that makes you feel good, fine. So yeah, like, someone may want to talk. Someone may want to just spill all the tea to you.
Right.
Like, I think I remember talking to Mary about this. Like, she had a client, a long-term client, that would come in all the time and just spill the tea. Yeah. Just spill it. And if that's what your client wants to do, let them do it, as long as you're comfortable with it.
Sure.
So yeah.
I agree.
Such a rabbit hole we went on, but it makes sense. It kind of goes into what we're talking about.
It does. I think so. Tell us about Principle 5.
Okay, so convenient, enjoyable environments for all. We were kind of just talking about this down our rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Just making sure, well, we talked about it on like the psychological end of it, but in here it talks about signage, lighting, visual contrast, and materials, giving people sufficient information often before they leave their house that makes them feel confident enough to access a building or a space.
Yeah.
Love that.
I know personally, I love that, because those are things that I want to know. And I don't have anything like super stand out, but I do get anxious going to a new space and not knowing what parking looks like, or, is there an elevator?
Right.
Or, like, is there a certain code I need to? Yeah, exactly. So those are really important specifications to give out to your clients, especially new clients.
Yes, and it says, by creating inclusive spaces and implementing features that speak to the needs and comfort of people from all walks of life, you can reduce end user stress and provide everyone with a comfortable and efficient access to all of the building's services. Yeah. But yeah, just like you said, like, give me an email 24 hours before my appointment of literally what I can expect. For some people, they may not need it. But if you don't provide it, that's the problem. Like, do more than less. So
yeah. Well, it's kind of like your analogy to the whole hotel situation. Right. Just having the rooms accessible for disabled people, like even if they were sold out, it's still accessible to us as non-disabled people. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing when we talk about inclusive design in your spa and just in general, inclusivity in your spa. It's never going to be a bad idea. It's just not. Inclusivity is never a bad idea. And it's important to remember that when we're talking about inclusive design, it's more of a process rather than a be-all, end-all goal.
Right.
So it's always evolving, forever a process. So
yeah. And you may have that one tool that will only accommodate one person that you may see. Like, what if there's one person that can benefit from this instrument you purchased for your spa and they come in once a year? It's less awkward to have that instrument just sitting there than to say, hey, we don't have what we need to help you. Like, how is that going to make them feel? You know?
Right.
So there is an investment side to it. Like, you have to invest in your business in order for it to be inclusive.
Absolutely.
You got to spend that money.
Yep. It comes and it goes.
Right. So yeah, I think we pretty much hit all the points on how to design and create inclusive spa spaces.
Yeah. Can I just close with another quote from Mary? Because it was so good.
Of course.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up. She closes her article and says something really beautiful. So she says, the skincare industry is a beautiful blend of passion, talent, and skill. Improving inclusivity will elevate the industry, providing practitioners with greater opportunities, as well as giving clients better service. If each spa made the personal commitment toward greater equality, collectively, skincare professionals can make a large impact and influence the entire industry. I love that.
Amen, sister. Amen. Mary is just...
She's a powerhouse.
I'm telling you, like, it is, and it honestly blew my mind. I'm pretty sure I told her this before, like back season 1 of the Fearless Beauty podcast. It blew my mind how much she loved others. Yeah. And I'm just going to say it straight out. It blew my mind how much a white woman loved Black men and women.
Yeah.
Well, and Latinx
and brown and yellow and red and everybody else. But yeah.
It blew my mind though, because I've never had, I grew up loving all. Like I honestly, you would probably say I was naive, but I did not see color because I grew up in an environment that was inclusive, very much inclusive. I've never had an experience where I was called out because of the color of my skin, anything like that. So, but I knew, the world I lived in. Like, of course I understand. Right. But just knowing that Mary, it's refreshing to know that a white woman understands her privilege, doesn't necessarily want her privilege, but she just wants everyone to have, and to have the best life possible. So it's truly a gift. Mary is a gift to this world.
She is
honestly.
A gift. And if you don't know Mary, go follow her at least on Instagram, your SD Godmother. She's just full of knowledge.
Oh, and love.
And love and just pushing the needle forward. There's not a day that she's not making a difference.
Yeah, and you work with her every day.
And
like,
I have the pleasure of working with her every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, she's doing awesome things. Yeah. All right, y'all. So that is episode 8.
Dang, wrapped up episode 8. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you at the next episode.
Yep. Bye.